Hello, my angels. So today's video is going to be on anxiety. There are several different types of anxiety disorders. There is generalized anxiety disorder. There is panic disorder, agoraphobia. There is social anxiety disorder, which is what I had. And there are phobic disorders. I was going to do all of them and just explain them all in one video, but there's different characteristics. There's different like cognitive and behavioral for each one. So I figure I'll just do like 5 different videos. Today, I'm going to talk about generalized anxiety disorder, and that's the most common one. So, if you have anxiety disorder, or you think you do, or you know someone that might, and you need to learn more about it, again, big disclaimer, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a counselor yet. I'm going to school for it, but I've also suffered with major depression, which another word for it is major depressive disorder. I've also suffered with social phobia or social anxiety disorder. So not only have I researched a lot about it, I've lived it for over 30 years. So I know a lot about it. So if you would like to hear more, then keep watching. Okay, so we all have anxiety, some form of anxiety. So it motivates us in the face of a threat or a challenge. It helps us study for exam, to seek medical advice. It warns us when we're in dangerous situations. Everyone has some kind of anxiety at different times of their life. The difference is there's adaptive and there's maladaptive. Adaptive is just the regular everyday anxiety that we all have. Maladaptive is when it gets carried away. It's when it's out of proportion to the level of threat, and it comes on suddenly, without any reason, without any cause. So it's anxiety in general is a feeling of fear, of doom. You can't breathe and you get that tightness in your chest. So it's a matter of the severity of how bad your anxiety is. So there's different causes of anxiety. There is genetics, there's temperament and personality. Substance abuse is a huge one. It's also a precursor to anxiety disorder. There's brain chemistry, stress, trauma, some medications for like hyperthyroidism, vitamin B12 deficiency, certain medications for asthma and Parkinson's can cause anxiety. So the anxiety that I'm talking about is anxiety in adults. So this usually starts like your later teens, middle to late teens, early 20s. So when adults have anxiety, it's so bad, it's so intense that it interferes with your speech and your movement and your thoughts, and when it occurs most of the time without reason, it's acute anxiety. When it happens over an extended period of time, then that's chronic anxiety. It leads to avoidance and feelings of being uptight. The physiological effects, the physical effects of anxiety, there are lots of different things. There's a sweating, chest pain. You can't breathe, tremors, dizziness, no sex drive. You're irritable, muscle tension, fast heartbeat, high blood pressure, numbness, nausea. I'm going off the ones that I used to get. chills and nausea. Some days I'd be really tired. Other days I would be like I'd have severe insomnia. You know, you can't concentrate. You're really jumpy all the time. You have weakness in your muscles. Aside from all of the physical effects, you know, everyone's different. So, I mean, all those that I listed off, I mean, you can have all of them, you can have some of them. Everybody's different. I had most of them. Mine was social phobia. So not only did I have anxiety and depression, it was so bad that I couldn't leave my house. I was in a constant heightened state. I was constantly needing reassurance. I was scared all the time. I had problems breathing all the time. I couldn't go to the store by myself. I couldn't go anywhere by myself. I went from living with my parents to being married to living with parents to being married. I could not. I was not. I think the first time I actually really lived on my own, like on my own, was like 10 years ago. And I'm 45 years old. So you'll notice in yourself or in other people that you have it when you start avoiding people. You're avoiding social situations. You don't want to be around people, or you're around a specific person that, like a husband or a wife or boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever, and you're like really clingy with them, and you need assurance from them all the time. You need to feel safe all the time. You're always agitated. You're always worrying. You've got like jumbled thoughts in your head, and like nagging thoughts of just doom, like the whole fucking world is falling apart. It's like, you know, when they say when you have a panic attack, it literally feels like dying. That is exactly 1,000% what it feels like. You truly feel somebody is sitting on your chest and that you are fucking suffocating to death. So when you're going to a doctor to find out about your, you know, the first thing you need to do is get diagnosed, because like I said, there's something called comorbidity, and that's where you have a condition that is, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a precursor to another illness. So for like me, mine was my major depressive disorder with anxiety disorder and social phobia disorder. And then on top of that was my substance abuse, which was another precursor to those two things. So the first thing you need to do is they have to specifically diagnose you with whatever it is you have. So if you had generalized anxiety disorder and depression, then they need to diagnose both of them separate, but together. So the first thing they need to do is they need a complete, thorough medical and psychiatric history of you. Then they need to take a review of systems, current life stresses, your treatment, your whole treatment history of, you know, doctor's visits, you know, hospital visits, things like that, personal and family history of trauma. They need to do a risk assessment, a thorough exam of all your thoughts, your feelings, whatever's going on in your head. Trauma is a big one. And like I said, depression is almost always likely when somebody is suffering from anxiety disorder. So I'm trying, if you're wondering why I'm talking so fast, for one, this is a very hard subject for me to talk about, but I just think it is so, so incredibly important, because like there is 1 in 4 people in their entire lifetime will have at least one anxiety disorder. It's most typical in women, and it's usually like later teens, early 20s. It's not talked about enough because people are so ashamed by it, especially because there are men that get it, especially for men, because they're supposed to be these big, masculine, strong, tough guys. And, you know, they get anxiety. It's like, oh, you're a fucking girl. You know, it's like, this is such bullshit. You know, I'm so sick of this fucking masculine, feminine bullshit. You know, you are who you are. But it has something to do with the neurotransmitter, and I'm going to butcher it because I always do, but it's gamma-aminobutyric acid. And I always say it wrong, but it's short for GABA. It's the important thing in your body that helps you to relax. And it's obviously all fucked up. So they use benzodiazepines to help relieve it. They treat the anxiety to kind of influence the GABA receptors. So most likely, depending on the level of your anxiety, they had me on Xanax, and I'm telling you right now, absolutely 1,000%, no, do not take it. I was on it for a long time. It is one of the it's not only one of the most addictive drugs out there, but it's also one of the hardest to get off, next to heroin. And you go through some fucking horrific withdrawals. There's a lot of other medications out there. Just please don't take Xanax, because it's so easy to get addicted to it, and it's 1,000 times harder to get off of it. You know, I'm also talking fast because my videos tend to be really long, which is why I think some people kind of skim through it. And it's, you know, when I do videos like this on, you know, sexual assault and sex trafficking and things, it's so important that you guys hear what I have to say, because I've lived through it. And I'm not doing this for myself. I am, but I'm doing this to bring awareness, because I don't ever want anyone to go through what I went through. And that's why I changed my channel to doing things like this and talking about my own issues. So I not only can bring awareness, but people can relate to me, because I know, because I've been there. Anxiety happens for a variety of reasons. It could be something as worrisome as, you know, something going on with your job, finances, something going on with your health, or somebody in your family or a loved one's health. But it can also be the most minute things, like, you know, chores, or, you know, having to get your car fixed, or even something as being late for a class. Like, everybody's different. Anxiety happens to a whole variety of people for a whole variety of reasons, and some get it bad, some don't get it that bad. You know, there's just regular anxiety. But, you know, for me, like, I think me going through what I went through, and when I ended up on the streets, as fucked up as it sounded, it was almost a blessing in disguise, because although it screwed up other areas of my life, it made me harder. So I don't want this for anybody else. I don't want people to have to become hard in order to get through certain things. But it's what helped me. I still have anxiety. I still have depression. Just not as bad as I used to. But because of everything that I went through, I became very hard, very mistrusting. And it actually helped with my anxiety, because I stopped caring what people thought of me, mostly because I hated myself so much. So if I didn't give a shit about myself, why the fuck am I going to care what you think about me? Right? So now I'm learning to love myself, and I still, like, I know who I am. I know where I've been. I know what I've been through. I know what I've overcome. And I'm pretty fucking proud of myself for that. And if you don't like me, then the only person that's going to bother is you, because I'm not going to let it affect me. Why would I be miserable and screw up my life because somebody else feels something about me? It doesn't even matter. What they feel about me is not going to affect me. The only person that affects me is me. The only people on this planet that I care what they think about me is the man that I've never met. And I'll talk about that one day. I talked about it a little bit the other day with my night video where I had one of my moments, one of my very rare moments. But I talked about a minute. Yes, there is a man that I've never met, but I've known him, who he is, for 20 years. And he quite literally saved my life more than a few times. So him and my cubs. My kids are the only thing that I care about. I mean, I care about, my best friend, and, as much as my family is not really there for me, I care about them. But, and you're probably asking me, why do you care what someone thinks about you if you've never met them? I've spoken to him a couple times. I've never met him, but I care because he has become such a huge part of my life. I have pictures around my house as if he's part of the family, because to me, he's part of my family, because him and my cubs are the only reason I'm here today. They are the reason that I am still alive. And I owe it to them to not only make a better life for them, but for myself. I've overcome a lot, and they deserve me to be the person that I want to be, that I deserve to be. I've been through a lot. I deserve to be happy. I've never gone out of my way to hurt anyone. People have done some horrific things to me. Even people that claim to love me. But I don't want to be that person. I want to be the person that God intended me to be. The person that my cubs deserve me to be. And I owe it to this man who has gone above and beyond to help so many people, to help the innocent, that had a hand in saving my life more than a few times. I owe it to him to make my life better than it was. And I'm slowly getting there. So, tried not to make this video too long, obviously. Once I start talking, I can't stop. So, I really hope that this helped. As always, please leave me comments, questions. If you want to talk privately, message me anytime. I'm here for all of you guys. If there's a subject that you want me to talk about, or there's a specific disorder that you want me to talk about, or, whatever it is, just leave it in the comments. If most likely I've been through it, but if I haven't, then I can find out. I'll just research it, I want to help in any way that I can. So I hope that you will like this video. I really hope that if you're not already subscribed, that you will subscribe. And don't forget to hit the bell, because I'm posting videos every single day now, sometimes a couple. So that way you can find out when my next video is coming out. So remember, live, love, laugh, smile, because a smile has been known to save a life. I love you all. Talk to you soon.